Okay, everybody, good morning and welcome to the Naples Mac User Group Wednesday meeting, March 31st. We welcome all of our members from all around the world. Our Naples Mac User Group meetings will be every Wednesday until June 30th. Then we normally take a couple months off. You must be a member of Naples Mug to attend our Zoom meetings, and that's for basically Zoom security purposes. And we have approximately 44 weekly meetings a year. Happy Easter to all of those that celebrate Easter. For some reason, I got confused and I thought it was 2 Wednesdays ago, but it's not. Okay, just hold on 1 minute. Okay. I want to thank our registrar and Zoom genius, Eckert, who's not with us today. He's on a trip out to San Francisco to visit his daughter. And of course, Shita Hunter, who is our Naples Mac User Group class planner, meeting moderator, and a bunch of other duties and positions and contributions to Naples Mug. I just wanted to report that last month the tide has turned, and I'm very excited about that. That means when I say the tide has turned, last month we got 9 new members and we lost 5 members. We usually lose between 60 and 80 members a year through normal issues and so forth. But in the last few years, we have not been gaining members at the same rate. But this month, it looks like the tide has turned. It started to turn last year, and it's very exciting. So, and one of the greatest ways for us to get new members is for our members to recruit new members and talk to your friends, relatives, neighbors, associates, and try to get them to join Naples Mac User Group and take advantage of all the wonderful things that we do. Just a recap of some of the meetings coming up on the 21st of April. We'll have Gary Rosenzweig. Most of you know Gary through his MacMost videos, that if you just give him your email address, you can get probably 8 to 10 videos a week on how to operate your Mac, some more advanced, some very basic, and some for beginners. He will be with us on the 21st, and he will be covering advanced iMovie tips and tricks, and he will take general questions. Gary's an expert at general questions, and if you've ever been with us during one of his presentations, it's outstanding. So make sure you plan to attend. On the 14th, we have our buddy Mitch is back, and he's going to lead the iOS meeting on the 14th for the iPad, the iPhone, and the watch. It'll be basically a Q&A. And make sure you email your questions to Mitch as far out as humanly possible, or at least a few days before, and he'll make sure they get answered during the meeting. Next week's meeting, Ed will be back, Ed Evans, who's a member of our board and who handles the general Q&A meetings at the beginning of each month, every other month. He switches back and forth with Shita. So make sure you're here for that meeting. And then, of course, today we have Joe Grillo with us. It's very exciting when our members volunteer to do a meeting. And many of these meetings are just terrific. And we really appreciate when a member steps forward and is willing to talk about their favorite app or their favorite whatever or some of their experiences in life and how it relates to their utilization of the Mac. So Joe's going to talk about the Preview app, which is one of the most wonderful apps on our computer. It comes for free, and he will discuss that. Joe, it's all yours. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, George. I'm very privileged to do this presentation today. I have to say that George wrote me earlier this year and asked me to put on the preview presentation. I'm not sure why he did that. I think I might have opened my mouth and said how much I liked the preview, but he convinced me after several emails to do the presentation. The reason I was hesitant is because the quality of presentations that I've witnessed has been very high. Everybody has raised the bar to a level that's unbelievable. So I'd like to share with you my favorite parts of the preview. And I just saw on the email that there's a whole list of things that I hadn't planned on covering, but if somebody has some specific questions, I may be able to answer them. Preview is so powerful. It's not as powerful as apps you can buy, but it's very powerful. I think I was exposed to it through NMUG, through a Macworld article around 2018, and didn't pay that much attention to it until about 2019, when Gary Rosenwig had sent out his one of his MacMost vignettes, and I've also copied that at the last slide. So if people want to go back a few years and look at what he had presented, I found it very interesting. And now Preview is all I use. I don't use any other app for PDFs or fooling around with pictures. With Preview, anything you can open with Preview, you can create a PDF out of it and manipulate it. So it's very powerful for PDFs, JPEGs, PNGs, GIFs, TIFFs, and also PDFs. I'll start off real basic by saying to open a PDF, you just right-click on a file to get the box on the right-hand side, and you can open it. Or you can, if it's not coming up as a PDF opening, then you can click on Open With, and you can see that on the right-hand side in the blue. And then on the left-hand side of that box, you can click on Preview App and make it a default, which I have done, and I'm very happy to do it. Okay, once you open it, it's always nice to save it as a PDF right away so you don't lose it. So you can click on Save As in the File menu, and you have those options that are in gray. When you do save it, you have other options. I have to say, none of which I use. On the first one, down about the bottom third of the page, it says Format, and that format I use is PDF. And like I showed you earlier, you have other options you can do. The next box is Quartz Filter. I don't use that. More sophisticated people might. It's a way to compress the files. You can change, you can crop things, you can change colors, you can make photos black and white. You can do a whole bunch of things. I don't use it. The next one is creating a PDF/A. I don't use that one either. It makes the document so that it can be reproduced the same way in other apps. I haven't found a need to do that. The next one is creating a PDF as a linearized file, and that makes viewing very fast over the internet. I don't use that one either. One of the features you can do when you're saving a file is you can lock it. Locking is, it could be important to you, maybe, maybe not. I don't ever lock a file. You'll see later on that if you're going to redact the file, then you'd want to lock it so that somebody can't look underneath it. If it's not locked, you can check underneath whatever is redacted. Okay, password protecting a file. I tried to use this with my accountant when I was doing my taxes a few years ago, and he wasn't very computer literate, and he just basically fell apart and he got furious with me, fired me. I had to beg him to come back. But you can password protect the file. What I did was I created a password and verified it, and I sent it to him as a text message separate from the email. But like I said, that was the only time I tried to use it, and I was unsuccessful. But I'm confident that that would work. One of the features that I really like is this one. You can, if you're doing a PDF in preview, as in other apps with Apple, you can revert to a previous version. I've used this in the past. The present file is on the left-hand side. It says current document. And up on the top in the file menu section, there's a section to revert to. And then you can look at, it's just like the time machine. You can look at a previous version that you want to go back to, and then check on that one and restore it. I've used it a couple of times, and I really appreciate this option. The toolbar. This is the heart and soul for me of preview. When you click on the markup, that's on the top section, you can see that it opens up a whole field highlighted in blue. And these things are the ones that you're going to be using a lot of. There are more options up in the menu bar, up on the top rather, that add extra things, but this is the section I use most of the time. So I use the take control of preview booklet, and I copy this out of it. This is an outstanding depiction of what each one of those icons do for you. The text selection tool, I've got it selected to fonts. You can look up on the top menu, and there's 3 options you can use. I'll be going through these, but I just wanted to put this out there to say that there's a way to tell what each box does for you. I'll be going over most of them. Yeah, most of them. Okay, I choose this PDF for a lot of my examples. The first one is highlighting something. I use this a lot. Whenever I'm doing something with somebody that I'm sending an email to, I would highlight a section. You can click on the text, either just clicking on it, or you can use the second icon on the markup bar, which is a box, and you can click on a whole bunch of things. It's just 2 ways of doing the same thing. Once you click on that, you can see the arrow points up to highlight. So you highlight the one you want to highlight, and then click on the highlight bar, and it'll put the color in that you want. And you could choose the colors you want. This one I happen to choose green in, but most of the time I choose yellow. The next one is redacting. It's basically the same as highlighting, and I mean that. You click on a section that you want to redact, and you highlight it, and then you go up to the box, the 3rd box in, which is the redact icon, and that puts in the black in all those X's. Like I said earlier, you got to be careful with this. If you just send out an email with that without protecting it, without locking it, then whatever you redacted, somebody can open up and see what's underneath. You can print it and copy it and send it or fax it or do anything, and they won't be able to see what's underneath. Or you can lock it. That's probably the easiest way of doing things. Next one, I use this all the time. This is the text box. Click on the text box and it opens up a little section like in the middle of your screen, a little box, and it says text on it. You click on that and you can choose the font, the size of the font, and the color, and write in any kind of a comment you want. You click outside of it, and then you can move that anywhere. I use this filling out forms all the time, or even just annotating something. I love that section. This one is a little complicated, but it really expands on the text tool. Up on the top, where it says click on text, what you do is click on the icon up on the top like you did on the previous file. And then the next one, the red line, you can click on the outline color, which is what I chose red as. And then the next line is click on the background color, which I chose, I don't know what you'd call that. A guy would call that blue, but it's probably aqua or something like that. And you can choose the background for that. And then the third one, the purple one, is click on the font size and the color. You can get fancy and do it that way, or just do the text box without any of this. And the way you do that is under the outline, is the first selection is white with a slash through it. That means there's nothing there. Same thing with the background. The first selection is white with a slash through it, and that means there's nothing in the background. The third, the next area is kind of a cutesy one. It's select an area to emphasize, and you can use any of the combinations of the outline or the background colors. And you can put it any way you want. You can do anything with it. I haven't used this much, but as you see in the next slide, I like this feature. You can give somebody a gold star, tell them they did a good job, and you can size it to any size you want by just clicking on it, and you can enlarge it, decrease it, make it any kind of colors you want, anything you want to do. So much versatility. It's incredible. This next one is a special feature. Somebody asked me, how do you do this? And I love this one too. It's when I'm doing some kind of a form that I've downloaded off the internet. It could be anything. What I do is I download it to the PDF, and I create a signature. You go to the signature box, which is on the left-hand side, and you can see I've created several kinds of signatures. And if I wanted to put my own signature in, I would click on the bottom section, which is called Create Signature. And then you've got three options. If you have a trackpad, you can use it. I found you can't do that with your laptop. But if you have I'm not sure, a side trackpad, then you could probably use it. You can do a camera. You can sign a piece of paper and copy that and use that signature. What I did was I went to my iPad and I signed John Doe, and I created that. When I use it, I just click on it, go back to the first section, and scroll down to where it says John Doe, and I click on that. I can move it anywhere on the screen, and I can increase or decrease the slide, or the size rather, of the picture. I use this a lot too if I'm filling out forms, especially, it just makes me feel more professional when I do things like that. All right, one of the last things that that I've found that I use is called the Instant Alpha tool. It's the first one. It looks like it's got a magic wand with something on it. It's an interesting one, and it takes a little while to get used to. It removes unwanted or wanted materials in sections of photos. The first one I did was I clicked on the first box, and it says Smart Lasso, and you can barely see it, but there's along the left-hand side of the picture, or my right, you can see that there's a white squiggly line. That's what I lassoed, and if I don't want that in there, I can just delete it, and it would take it out. It took about 5 minutes to do the right-hand side of the screen and just delete everything out that I didn't want in there. The next part of that is Lasso Selection. And this is basically the same thing, only the inverse of it. This one, you outline the section that you want to copy, and you select that, and you get a picture. What I did, I used that to get this picture of Gary, and I did it so that I can thank Gary for all the MacMost vignettes that he puts out. I love them. I look at them all the time. The link below it is the one that gives many features of preview, and it's something that I learned. It probably came out a year or two ago, but that got me really into using preview. And the next one is just recently, the Take Control books by Josh Centers and Adam Engst. This is a wealth of knowledge on how to use previews. So I've given you the things that are most valuable to me. I love using preview, and that's my presentation. Questions?
All right, we have a couple of questions. Jim Corsica. Actually, I'm sorry, Victoria. Can you open your mic and ask your question?
Sure. This has really been very helpful, Joe. I use preview a lot. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I
Yes.
can.
Okay. I can't tell. I had a question about how to combine two different documents, which I had opened in preview. And I've been playing with this as you've been talking, so I've been able to figure out that part of my problem, I had a PNG file, I opened it in preview, which is great, which is what I do a lot of. I do a lot of screenshots and then open in preview. And I thought I was just going to be able to carry over document number 2 into the thumbnails and just combine, but it doesn't work. And now I know from someone explaining to me here that you have to have a PDF file to use the thumbnail combination, and suggested going to the quick action. You know, when you open something up and you do a control and it says quick actions. I tried to do the create PDF, but it won't work. I mean, I've been doing this, and then I finally just opened in PNG and exported to PDF, and that works fine. So I'm not sure why I can't create in PDF. It is checked off as being something I can do.
All right, well, here's the way I do it. I open up a PDF file. That's the first one I have over here. And I view it and get the thumbnails out. Well, let me get it this way. All right,
But
and I have this other one, this other PDF, and I just bring it over there.
That's exactly how I figured out how to do it. But the problem I'm having is I have all these PNG files, which are screenshots, okay?
Yeah.
And you're supposed to be able, and it's checked off as being able to be in the Finder, create, let's see, quick actions, create PDF, which would then allow me to do exactly what you said. But
exactly.
the create PDF doesn't work. In other words, it won't create it. So I've had to go in and open up the thing and then do an export as PDF, and that does work.
Huh.
But I can't open now this may be a PNG thing, and I'm on Mojave, and that may be an issue too. I don't know. Anyways, beyond your discussion, this is very helpful and I appreciate it.
Okay, what I would do is, I think.
Can you export can you move a PNG right
What?
into there and see if it goes into a PDF?
That's what I'm gonna do. I'm going into my
Okay.
photos and I'm gonna pick out this picture and
Do a screenshot.
just save it. Geez, I want to save it as a PDF. No, that's what you have to do. You have to make it a PDF.
Yeah, no, I know that. The problem is it's a PNG file, which is not being able to be created into a PDF under the Finder extension. Okay. And that may be, I don't know what it is. It's beyond this discussion today. I know we have to use
Then-
PDFs.
Victoria, then what you can do is open it up in preview, even though it's a PNG,
I
and
know.
then export it out as a PDF. You don't just export it out.
Yeah,
and
no,
it'll-
I know. That's how I figured it out. But I
Okay.
was having trouble creating a PDF from the PNG. That's where I guess where
All
we're
right,
at.
well, I think I've got it. I just shifted this picture, or I copied the picture onto my desktop,
Mhm,
and I'm opening with preview, okay?
mhm.
And hopefully I can save as a PDF. Whoops.
You can export it as a PDF.
Yeah, yeah, but you were having trouble with that. So right here,
But she wasn't having
says-
trouble with that. She wasn't
the
having
trouble-
trouble exporting it.
The trouble was creating PDF, as I think you or someone said, a quick action under the Finder will create a PDF from a PNG or other file, and it's not doing that. That's what I'm saying.
Well,
Otherwise, you're
here's what I just did. All
okay.
right, let me get rid of this now. All right, this is a JPEG,
Uh-huh,
kind of like a PNG, right?
right.
All right, so I've got it over here and I do save as, and it comes up. And I did Shift Command S, which is save as. You can go to the file menu
Mm-hmm.
and it says save as. So this box comes up and it says save as a PDF. I can save it as anything I want, but I want to save it as a PDF. And that just brings it over right to here as a PDF. That's the way I do it.
Okay, well, thank you very much. I appreciate it. I'll figure-
Victoria,
Yeah,
I think I just saw a note from somebody that reminded me of something. I think when you take screenshots, you can change what you want your screenshot to be,
mhm.
either a PNG or a PDF.
Oh,
Am I correct, Sheeta?
Yes, you are correct.
well, I might try that. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Okay, James Corsica, can you unmute yourself and ask your question?
Thanks, Sheeta. Joe, I have the need to highlight frequently because I get scripts in a PDF format, and I cannot get the highlighter to work to save my soul. And I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I click on highlighter in the toolbar, and then I go to the document and I try to paint the document, and what it does is turn the whole document with a kind of a blue background, like I've
Yeah.
selected the whole page.
Yeah, I've had the same problems, just getting ahead of myself. So what I just did was open up a PDF file, all right?
Yeah.
And I highlight it first and then go up and use the highlighter. If you do it backwards, it goes blue on you.
Oh, that's interesting. I've had the same problem. Good.
Got it, Jim?
Well, I just tried it on a PDF document, and when I click on the document, even without choosing highlighter, it turns the document blue. Do I have a bad app?
No, you probably just need to click on it harder. Or click on a different spot. I understand exactly what you're saying. Try it.
Hmm.
Nothing. It just keeps turning it blue.
All right, is it a PDF?
Yes, that's a good question. Is it a PDF? Is it an image and not actually an OCR PDF?
No, it's a letter and it's got a PDF suffix on it, a dot
It-
PDF suffix.
It could still be an image.
Ooh. Okay. All right, then. So I'll create a PDF myself and then try it as you've described.
Okay. Yeah,
Okay,
let us
thanks.
know. Yeah, let us know what happens because an image, a PDF could be anything. It could be an image. It could be text. It may look like text, but if it's not OCR, it's an image.
You know,
So
you're
that
right,
could-
Cheetah. I've had that problem too, and I couldn't figure it out. And
Mhm.
yeah, definitely. I've had the same issue.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
You're quite welcome, Jim. James Cutler, do you want to chime in with your comment about PDFs and preview?
Yeah, I've been an Acrobat user since I used to be a Windows user last century. But anyway, every once in a while they have signatures on them, like tax returns and so on. And since I have Creative Cloud full subscription because of some of the other things that we do, I have Acrobat. So I use Acrobat most of the time. But when I have a form that needs a physical signature, I just dump the file in Preview and use it. And I've been doing that for at least a decade, if not longer. I don't even know how long I've been doing it.
Okay.
And it really works well. And the creation procedure is so easy if you can write on your trackpad, or you can take a picture of your signature, or it's and there are a few other things I do, but that's one of my go-to tricks. And then of course just looking at things and cropping. It's easier to crop in Preview if you need a quick crop of a picture than to use any of the high-powered multifunction do anything everything and Swiss Army knife.
All right, thank you, Jim. Marianne
Okay.
Marks, can you unmute yourself and ask your question?
Yes, hi. I was trying out on a PDF highlight like a star or a conversation balloon, and it turns out to be opaque. And if I was trying to emphasize the text underneath it, what would I do?
Okay. I'm going to that one. Ooh, let me get rid of. Sorry about that. I don't know. I thought I got rid of that stuff. Okay, you did a box, like you wanted to create something like that?
Marianne? You're muted. If you are speaking, we can't hear you.
And I see that yours, Joe, is, you can see the text underneath it. When I added it, it's opaque and it covers up the text.
Yeah, okay. What you do, what the problem is right up here.
Yes.
I have nothing there. So if I want to make it opaque, I just did that. So you want to make it transparent, that box, just click with the line through it.
Do you see Marianne?
I do, but what it did was it took the border off the conversation balloon, but it still is covering up the letter. So I'm going to try what you're saying here.
Okay, watch what Joe is doing right now. Joe is showing you the fill and the stroke out icons right there. There's a border and there's a fill.
Yeah,
That's the difference between what's going on. Go ahead, Joe.
there's the border. I'm changing the color to whatever I want it to be. And here's the fill. You can make it anything you want. Make it black or make it nothing. And then you can put a text box in there and put anything you want in that. Whoops.
Thank you very much. I think I've got it.
All right.
All right, thank you, Marianne. Ferrers, did you have a comment or question?
Yes, he talked about you have to save your versions if you want to revert to, and how does he mark his, when he saves, so that he has the versions to go back to?
Every time, I should have said that earlier. Every time you save, that puts a version in there. You have to
Oh.
save it though.
Oh, so it automatically puts a version in.
Yes, I
And
just,
if you save again, it doesn't make that go away. It gives a new version number.
exactly. Yep.
Okay, all right.
And there's all the versions that I have. And, you know, I can keep on going back because I've been fooling around a lot with that one.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. Richard Cox, you have quite a few comments in the chat. Would you like to unmute yourself and comment?
Preview is a really wonderful sleeper application that most of us don't really use. But the quick actions item in the Finder will let you combine, say, a folder of PDF or JPEGs. And in doing so, it'll give you one file that's all PDFs, which is a handy way to make a combination. In addition to being able to drag thumbnails around in open files within Preview. But you could all, PDFs are so handy, you can make shortcut commands in the key system preferences, keyboard system preferences, that will immediately, whatever you're looking at, print it to Preview, open it in Preview as a PDF, or save it immediately without having to go through the menu down the bottom left corner. I use that all the time. It's just one click and you're done.
Okay.
Where do you get that quick action?
All right. Hold on for a second. Richard, is that something you can share your screen and demonstrate?
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Well, anybody, either the co-host, just go to Finder, choose quick actions. And if you
Is
have
that
selected
Richard,
beforehand,
Richard,
yes,
is that something that you can share your screen and demonstrate?
I could, yeah. Let's see.
Okay. You should have the ability to share your screen.
Okay, gotta get rid of this. We go to, here's a bunch of junk.
I'm sorry. Hold.
Okay,
Okay.
if I select,
Hold on. We don't see your screen yet. Are you sharing?
I thought I was.
All right. There you are now.
Let's see, Zoom.
You're sharing now.
You're sharing now,
yeah.
Richard.
Okay, so are you seeing a Finder window now?
Yes, we are.
3 PDFs selected, right click that and choose quick actions, create PDF.
Yeah, yeah.
It creates a new file. And if we open that file, it will have 3 screenshots in it on the thumbnails on the left. And these can be, dragged around and such like. And it works with PNG or JPEG files to convert them into a combined PDF.
So that should solve Victoria's problem.
Yeah.
No, it's very handy. And
It doesn't. I just tried it.
Okay. We'll work on that later. Go ahead, Richard.
I know. Okay.
Okay, Richard, were you done?
yes, I stopped sharing.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. Thank you for that. Thank you for that brief demo, Richard. That was very, very helpful. Jim Corsica, you sort of had a follow-up to your question earlier. Can you unmute yourself?
Yes, I'm really confused. I tried probably 5 different PDFs, and a couple of them that were sort of professionally prepared and sent to me, I was able to do the highlight thing and highlight it. But a couple of others on my desktop that have its PDF suffix on it, I couldn't do it. I got that blue effect. My question is, how do I tell which is which?
You sort of won't. Joe, can you share your screen, please? There is nothing that will tell you whether or not it's an image or whether or not it's OCR text, other than you clicking on it. If you click on it and you get the entire blue, that is automatically telling you this is not OCR text. Can you open up your Journey PDF, Joe?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Jim, there's nothing that just says, hey, I'm not OCR, I'm just an image. It's the reactions that you get from the tools that tell you either you can or you can't.
So if I get that blue effect, I'm dead in the water. I can't do a highlight.
Not necessarily. If you get that blue effect, it's telling you that it's an image, and there are annotations that you can use to highlight it. Joe, you did an annotation. Can you go back into this PDF and show an annotation?
Now, what do you mean an annotation?
Go. I'll get to you. Go into the PDF.
Yeah.
All right,
that
where
one?
it says markup,
Oh, wait a minute, this
you can yeah.
thing is in the way here. Yep, okay.
Yeah, click on markup.
Yeah.
And these, most of the time, and this is just different terminology that I'm used to saying, they're called annotations. So you made the shape of the star and the other shapes that you really liked.
Yeah.
Select rectangle. And Jim, one of the only other options you have would possibly be to create a shape like a rectangle outline, and you can either fill it just the border or fill the inside. Joe, is there a way to fill the inside but change the opacity?
I don't know the answer to that. I don't see it right here.
Okay. Just click on, you can click on do not show this message, so it won't keep showing that for you.
Oh.
But that is the only other way, Jim, that I can think that you can try to highlight something. Either make a border around it that doesn't have a fill to it. And I'm almost positive there's got to be a way to change the opacity of that shape.
Is there a tool is there a tool to change that opacity?
I'm thinking there's got to be a setting to change that opacity. Usually all apps have a setting where you can change the opacity of a fill.
Excuse me, there is. If you click on the fill button at the top.
That one?
Right, yes, select the color.
All right.
You have to create a shape first.
Oh, yeah, right. All right, we'll go back to that one. Yep.
Go back to the color selection at the top. Click on the bottom, show colors. And then at the bottom, you've got the opacity.
Ah, okay.
Down to the very bottom.
At the bottom.
Outstanding.
At the very bottom, Joe.
Oh, all right.
It says opacity.
Yes.
Right now it's 100%.
Ah.
All right.
There
So
you
go.
there's
Great.
your other alternative, Jim.
Bingo. What a
Good job.
group. What a group. That was a real team effort. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
All right, I like
Ferris.
Yeah, I have
Thank you,
the same
Ferris.
problem a lot. That's a great thing to know.
Okay. Okay. Carol Green, did you get your question answered for where to find quick action? Hold on for a second. Joe,
Yes.
go back, create a shape. Go back and create a shape. All right, you were doing something to get that pop-up where you kept telling it to go away. Do you know what you were doing?
To get the pop-up, this one, that,
No,
No.
the other one. There's
It was
delete.
creating the object.
Yeah,
Yes.
delete this shape and create a new shape. Delete that shape. Select a different shape icon.
oh, that was a different one.
All right, just create. Ooh, I don't know where that thing is now. It kept popping up, and now when we want it, when I
Yeah.
want it, I don't see it. That's typical. All right, the next time it comes up, I'll say something. You can go ahead and close that. There, stop.
Oh. I went too fast.
Yes, you did.
Can you go Command Z?
I don't
Oh,
know.
yeah. There you go.
There, stop. All right.
Good, good.
All right,
George.
read this. The content behind this annotation will not be deleted. If you are trying to permanently delete content, use the Redact selection tool in the markup toolbar. All right, for those of you who see this message all the time and get weary of it and don't need to see it, there is a tidy little checkbox. Do not show this message again. If you never need to see this again, you click that checkbox and this will stop interrupting you. If you want to see it, by all means, don't uncheck it. But
How do you get it back? How do you get it back if you do check it?
I think it's probably in preferences, reset defaults.
Okay.
Yeah, anything that you tell to hide, you can tell it to come back. But throughout this presentation, Joe has always just been dismissing that. So in order to keep it from coming back, you just click the do not show this message again.
Yeah, I read it 100 times and
you don't read it.
To it.
Yeah, there you go. All right, you can choose okay. And I was asking Carol, did you get your question answered about quick action?
Yes, but the only issue, Richard answered my question about right-clicking on a document in Finder and then select quick actions. The only problem is I have my mouse set up. I don't have my mouse set up for right-clicking. I just click it.
Then hold down the Go ahead, George.
You can hold down the control key.
And click.
Okay, thank you.
All right, you're welcome. Mitch, I know you've been waiting patiently. Thank you so much. Can you unmute yourself and ask your question? Joe, can you please put your PDF back on screen?
Okay.
And leave it up. Thank you.
Okay, Joe, when you had this up and you had that star image in the middle of it, is there a way to have that image and still see the text through the lines that make that image up?
That was the opacity, I think, is what he's talking about.
All right, I've got the star image up. And what did you want?
Well, when you originally had the star image up, there were lines around it. They were yellow lines all around it.
There was a border.
And there was a border. And I was wanting to know can you have the border and have it look like the text that's highlighted above in yellow, where you can see the yellow border, but you can see through.
That's a good question. Huh.
The answer is most likely yes. And just like
that's it. And what I wanted to do was be able to see through those yellow lines.
Oh, I see. Let me get rid of that.
So that's opacity.
Yes, that's the opacity.
Yeah, right. And so I've got, well, let me get rid of that color. All right, so.
Does he have to get to the opacity again?
Yes, he has to go down. Yeah, there you go.
Show colors, right.
All right, so that's the fill.
All right, so now
And
I
now
go to the.
Yes.
There we go. So same thing. You've got two different ones that you can do. So you vary it.
Yeah. Answer your question, Mitch?
Yes, thank you.
All right. Okay, Alan and Barbara, you have a question. Please unmute yourself and ask your question.
Yeah, sometimes when I have a collection of PDFs, a collection of images with preview, like I say, 5 or 6 images, and I click on a new one, it simply adds it to the existing collection. But other times, if I open, say, 3 or 4 images and I click on them, sometimes they add into the existing collection, and other times it opens up a whole new collection with just the ones I did. And I don't understand, is there a difference between opening up and adding it to the existing collection and opening up in a whole new collection?
When you say collection, are you saying that they open up in the same PDF or are they opening up in tabs?
Yeah, sometimes they simply add the image to an existing tab of collection. Other times it makes a whole new tab. And I never figured out which is which.
Okay. I directly don't have an answer for that. I'd have to see it. Does anyone else want to venture a guess on that? Or respond?
What is he talking about? It's a file browser?
If I may try to answer your question, Alan, tell me if I'm wrong. You're saying that sometimes when you open up a group of, is it images or PDFs, they are opening up as one instead of opening up as separate PDFs. Am I correct or wrong?
Not quite. I mean,
Okay, go ahead.
Start from the beginning. Let's say I have a preview window open and I have 5 images in that window. So and then I go to my desktop and I click on say a screenshot, and I double click on that screenshot. Sometimes it just adds it to the existing group that already showed. But other times, if I select that screenshot, or I select, say, 3 different screenshots, instead of adding those 3 to the existing group, it makes a whole new group.
When you say group, because if you're opening one, it's not creating a group, it's just opening one. So my question, I think I said it right. Is it showing you tabs, or is it actually adding to an existing opened preview window? That's something that we would have to visually see in order to be able to answer your question.
All right.
Because
all right. Well, don't worry about it. I mean, it isn't as critical. I mean, it's hard for me to describe it in any more detail. And if I demonstrate it, it'll take too much time. So don't worry about it. Just move on. I mean, it's too complicated.
Okay. Mr. Young, can you please unmute yourself and respond like you just did in the chat? Ferris Young?
Oh, sorry. Yes, if you look at preview preferences, in the general, it says when opening files, you've got a selection of three options. Oh, I have on mine anyway.
I don't have that in mind.
Stay there, Joe. Go back, stay there. Right. What OS are you in, Ferris?
Right, I'm running Catalina, not Catalina, El Capitan over here at the moment.
Okay. All right.
And so it's not there. Right.
All right. So he's in, Joe's in Big Sur, correct?
Correct.
And okay, so I'm in Catalina. All right. Continue with your explanation, Ferris.
Actually, Ferris, it's in the images tab, I think.
Yeah, that's it. It's under general in El Capitan.
Okay,
I mean,
same,
yeah, El Capitan, yeah.
same here. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so if you change that to open all files in one window, I think that's what you want.
Okay. Open group size in the same window.
Are you
So
referring to
this,
Alan? Is this
yeah, this
referring
may
to
be
Alan's
your,
question?
this may be your issue, Alan.
Yeah.
Images, open all files in one window. Say,
Okay, I guess I'll have to look at that.
Yes.
Okay, well, that might have been, but what is the default on that one?
Oh, I don't.
That was the default, I believe.
Yeah.
Okay,
And actually mine says the default is open groups of files in the same window.
That was my default.
Yes.
Yeah, same.
So that sounds exactly like what's happening with you, Alan.
okay, fine, thank you.
You're welcome, Alan. Okay, thank you for yours.
Good
And
job.
I do apologize if I don't get your name right. Please keep correcting me so I get it correct. You know how I am, so I want to be just the same. Jim, you got your problem solved? Jim Corsica?
Yes, very much so. Thank you. I tried it. I field tested it 3 or 4 times and it works.
Wonderful. Okay. All right. Do we have any other questions? And that burning questions that need to be answered right now. Okay. Everybody's quiet. If you can, please save the chat. We got some good questions and answers. Dale, please unmute yourself and ask your question.
Yeah, could you go over how you remove the background from the image again when you change the mask? Where did you access that feature from? That's what I can't find.
Well, you know what? It's cute.
No, that wasn't the opacity, George.
No,
no, he's talking about instant alpha.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You have to have a photo up to do that. All right. Oh, I got to do that. Come on.
You got a bigger
Yeah,
one?
okay. All right. So now that shows up with a JPEG or a PNG or any kind of a photo, you get that instant alpha. You don't get it with a regular PDF.
Okay.
I had that problem too.
Show how it works, Joe. It's a tiny
that's
picture,
cute
Joe.
one.
Do you have another picture?
Yeah, you got a bigger one?
A big one. Well, yeah, I can make it bigger. I thought I could.
Okay.
I'm trying. There we go.
There you are.
Okay, so if I'm using the smart lasso, this is kind of goofy.
Why would you use that for instant alpha, Joe?
Exactly. I don't know, but it could take that out if you wanted to. And
Okay.
All right, but if you want to do the other one, the selection, then that gives you the line.
No, Joe.
No?
No. Undo all of that.
All right.
Go back. All right. Click on instant alpha and go over to your screen, go over to the background and get away from it and start dragging in the background.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Yeah. You don't need the lasso tools.
All right. Okay.
There you are.
Outstanding. Thank you.
You're welcome, Dale. Any other questions? All right.
Is Mike Wozniak with us?
Yes, I am, George. Hello.
Just out of curiosity, Mike, you wouldn't be able to have that 5-minute presentation ready, would you?
5-minute presentation.
He had a presentation he wanted to slip into another meeting and it was only like 5 minutes.
I'm sure I can lay my hands on it, but just give me a couple of minutes.
Now, let me ask Sheeta if that's okay.
It's fine with me, if it's fine with you guys. Is it fine with everyone?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. All right, anybody know any jokes while we're waiting for Mike? And they has to be dad jokes. It can't be any bad jokes, dad jokes.
What
I'm
do you
just
mean
kidding.
bad? What,
I'm just
that
kidding.
doesn't mean
Okay.
clean? Clean?
Yeah, there you go. All right, just
Okay.
stop. Sophia,
Okay,
please stop. We have a question. Sophia, please unmute yourself and ask your question.
Okay, how can I post a photo of me on the Zoom participants rather than the video?
Okay, it has to be a topic related question.
Okay, all right.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate it though.
Okay.
Okay, Mike, are you ready?
So Sheeta, I'm ready, but this isn't really topic related.
No,
But-
not at all.
But it's
Well,
It's
it's a decent, it's a presentation. If it's a different presentation, it's a different presentation.
but it's very short.
Go
So
ahead.
I was just asked a question the other day because I quite often, I'm used to using Siri for very little. I use Siri to open apps, but I've not really used Siri for much else. And somebody said, so what else can you do with it? So I did a bit of homework and came up with, well, stuff that really surprised me. And it just occurred to me that maybe a lot of other people are not using Siri fully. Can I share my screen at the moment?
You should be able to share your screen.
Fantastic. I'm really sorry, folks. I'd really hoped to provide pictures and stuff. But George has pulled the rug from under my feet.
No, but if you're not ready, that's okay. We can not do it.
But so here's a bunch of stuff that I discovered that you could use Siri for. And in fact, since discovering them, we've been using it all the time. The first one is a really silly one, but that is that you can personalize. And I'm going to stop saying that word because I suspect I'm probably setting off lots of people's Siri functions. So I should just say, hey, S, just to stop that happening. Okay. So if you just pick up one of your iOS devices and just simply say, hey, S, call me Mike. In all future conversations with your device, it will actually call you by your name. Now that maybe it's kind of nonsense, really, but I don't know. It makes the whole experience a bit more personal, and I like it. And you have only got to do it once, and your device will call you by your Christian name, which sort of pleases me. I've been using it to open apps for a long time, just by saying, "Hey, yes, open Pages, open iMovie, open whatever." Because it's much quicker than, especially on an iOS device, it's much quicker than piling through pages and pages of apps before finding it. Same goes with music. If you have a pile of music stored on your device, you can just say, hey, yes, play Into the Woods. And it'll, assuming you have that, or assuming you have Apple Music, or assuming that you have that particular album on your device, it will just play it. It's so quick. I was shocked to find that you can actually compose and send an email without actually touching the screen. So you just say, hey, S, send an email to Fred Smith. And S will come back with the question, what's the subject for your email? So you just say meeting schedule 14th of June or whatever. And S will come back and say, okay, and what would you like your email to say? So you dictate your email, and then S will say, here's your email to Fred Smith. Would you like me to send it? And you say yes. Mm-hmm. So if you're really, really lazy, this is absolutely fantastic. And this, I really love this one. This is one for lockdown, because I don't know about you guys, but you know, here in the UK, it's been very tedious at times, and there have certainly been days, and today was one of them, where after lunch, a little siesta, you know, is a good thing to do. And when you lie down on your bed, if you just say, hey, S, set an alarm for 30 minutes time, it will set the alarm off 30 minutes later. It couldn't be easier. You can use it for showing directions to a place. So simply by saying, hey, S, show me the walking direction to, I've used the theatre, my local theatre here. It'll open maps and it'll show you the route. You can use it to, excuse me, you can use it to show photographs. I'm really remiss at titling and using keywords in photos. However, I've long found that Siri is, that the Mac is very good at finding things like pictures of your cat and stuff like that. But if you just say, hey Siri, show me photos of cats, it will find all of the images of cats and pop them up on your screen. This is a stunner, creating and adding to a shopping list. So without having created a shopping list in the past, if you just say, oh, hey S, add bacon to a shopping list, it'll say, yeah, you haven't got a shopping list at the moment. Would you like me to create one? So you say, yes, it does. And then over a period of days, you just pick up your iPhone or whatever and say, hey S, add butter to my shopping list, add cornflakes to my shopping list. And it's just so quick and convenient. And finally, and I love this, and don't do this right now, but try it this evening because it's very funny. Clever developers there are probably dozens and dozens and dozens of Easter eggs, but just say, hey S, what is 0 divided by 0? And it'll give you, Siri will come back with a lecture on quantum physics, just about. If you ask Siri, why did the chicken cross the road? It has a unique and wonderful answer to that classic joke. And if you dare say, I see a little silhouette of a man, as in the Queen's Bohemian Rhapsody, you can sit back while Siri, in a very strangled way, delivers the entire Bohemian Rhapsody for you.
Oh.
And that is the end of my 5-minute presentation.
Hold on, Alan, you have a question for that?
Not a question, but a comment.
Yes, Siri, go away.
when Siri first started, way back before they probably even called it Siri, I asked the question, what is the meaning of life?
Ooh.
And the answer came back, funny you should ask an inanimate object like me that question.
Okay. All right. Mike, to let you know how useful this can be, asking Siri questions and such, one of my clients is a dressmaker, and she was trying to, she just never could figure out how to use Siri, but she also wanted to take notes while she was working with her client, while the client is standing up and while she's sewing and putting pins in the client's dress. And I instructed her that you can actually tell Siri to take notes for you while you're doing this. And she was completely astonished. So it has a very good use, absolute use. I use the grocery list option often. So thank you for bringing those up and showing those. All right, do we have any other questions, comments before we decide to end our meeting? And there was a website.
Yes,
Okay, go ahead, Mitch.
Mike, could you post those nice Siri comments on our board?
Yes, of course, will do.
Thank you.
Okay, Sue Clark, you have a comment. Can you open your mic and please talk about what you put in the chat?
Sure. Hello. Can you see me now? Yeah.
We can't see you, we can hear you.
Ah, here. Yeah, that's cool. Basically, I sort of tried one of my Siri things out on my watch, and it said can't change your nickname on your watch. So I'm going to try it later on one of my other devices.
Would Mitch know the answer to that?
That would be a negative.
What do you mean when you, okay, Stu, you can't personalize your name on your Apple Watch. What do you mean?
Well, I use my Apple Watch mainly as an alarm quite a lot. So I decided to call it up and ask if it could, saying, hey Siri, call me Sue. And it just came back with, I can't change your nickname on the Apple Watch.
You've got a grumpy watch.
Yeah, I've probably got one that, mine is Apple 3, the Watch 3, so I'm way behind on the latest one, and maybe that's what it is.
That'd be something to Google to see if there is a watch that'll do that.
Yeah, I should do that because I haven't used it on any other device, and I've got to Google it to find out how I use Siri on my phone. I know you can, it's just that I haven't used it on the phone yet.
I think you can, I think your watch depends a lot on how you set up Apple Watch on the iPhone. So I would change the name, personalize the Siri stuff on your phone and see if it transfers to the watch.
I agree with it. I agree with Victoria, because there actually is a setting where you can phonetically tell your iPhone how to pronounce your name, and that actually works for me. And some that works, but there are different settings that you can use to do stuff like that.
Oh, right. Well, thank you very much for your help.
Sheetha, does that mean that each of us could set our phone to say your name correctly?
Actually, I wouldn't if I were you. Why would you do that?
Well, no, in case we didn't have the ability to say it correctly every time.
No. Okay, Marilyn, do you have a question or comment?
Yes, I just wanted to add to the list. In Watch OS 7, when we did the presentation, I demonstrated how you could translate phrases using S. You just ask the phrase and the language you want it to be in, and not only will she show you on the watch, but she will also speak it.
Excellent.
Thank you, Marilyn. I shall add that to my list. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, James Cutler, your hand is up.
Yeah, Siri is a very good cook's assistant. You just put your cookies in the oven. Siri set a timer for 10 minutes. But then you took your roast and put it in your other oven, and you set a timer for 2.5 hours. So you tell Siri, set another timer for 2.5 hours.
Oh.
And then she tells you, I've set an alarm for whatever time is 2.5 hours from now. So it actually puts an alarm labeled timer in your alarm part of your clock. So it can do multiple timers. It just makes use of the alarm feature instead of just the timer feature. The only one that shows it as a timer under the clock is the original timer. So that's really handy for multiple things you need to be aware of. You don't have to compute Siri set a timer for 4:55. You just say set another timer for 2.5 hours, and she does it. So I'm a little enamored of some of the things you can do.
But you have to be there to turn it off in 2.5 hours. Are there refrigerators now or ovens where you can talk to the oven, to Siri or to Alexa?
I'm sure they're
We
not
swear.
long off.
We swear at ours sometimes.
Mhm. All right. All right. Are there any other questions? In the meantime, while George is figuring that out, if you do have questions coming up for any of the questions and answer periods that are coming, Ed has one, Mitch has one, I have one. I've put our emails in the chat. It's near the top. So copy those, send us your questions well in advance. We greatly appreciate it. All right, George, all yours.
Okay, thank you very much. I love meetings like this where we get as many people as humanly possible to speak back and forth. And this was one of those meetings. And even though Joe ended his presentation early, there was a lot to be said, a lot of contribution by many of us. And it was a very enjoyable meeting. And we were also able to give Mike some time to talk about his issue. So thank you very much, everyone, and we'll see you. We will not see you on Saturday. There is no class this Saturday.
All right. All right. Thanks, everyone.
Thank
and
you.
have a great
Thank you,
day.
everybody.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks all.
I showed that was really nice. Learned a lot.
Yeah, really good. Thank you very
Gonna
much.
sleep in on
Thanks a
Saturday.
million, Joe. Thank
Good
you.
job.
Very
Thank
much.
you,
Yeah.
Joe. Thank you, Mike.
Thanks, Joe. Thanks,
Have,
Mike.
have a good
Start
Easter.
using that more. Thank
Happy
you.
Easter to everybody.
Happy
Yeah.
Easter.
Happy Easter.
Calm down, you be a good boy today.
Okay. Yes. Be a good boy today.